Hello. So, my seventh podcast, I talk about why I do this. I think a lot of it has to do with my intentions of, I guess my beliefs in teaching and training and making sure that, I guess my passion for what I do is getting out there, and my philosophies and how I teach and how I tick and what goes on in my head and my thoughts, and just getting them out to the open, whoever happens to be listening, and then kind of trying to make an impact from there, and then having some sort of feedback where I'm getting some comments now and some questions, and people maybe asking to talk about different topics, and I enjoy doing that. And that word intentions is very important to me. I'm always talking to players and parents as well, and even coaches about their intentions. And when you keep your intentions clean, upfront, forthright to people, it generally tends to lead to good things, good outcomes, good results, good relationships. And for example, when you teach like I do and train, and you better show the intention to follow up and almost become a fabric of that individual's baseball career. And you have to have a high care factor in, how they're performing, and follow up with their ups and downs and address them. And you have to be that engaged to get good results with a student. So I guess that's a big reason why I do this, is to get that across, and kind of dig a little deeper into, just some guy that has some good baseball experience or whatever and might know some things, but to dig a little deeper and to really make that aware that if you're in this business, you should have really good intentions, because it takes a lot of hard work, a lot of practice, a lot of experience, a lot of trial and error, and stuff like that. And I look forward to getting those points across throughout these different podcasts. Another reason I do this is because just the way our society is now, it's just so easy, the technology now, to just talk into a phone like I'm doing right now, and then a few minutes later uploading it onto the internet, and then from there it can do whatever it wants, but at least it's out there. So, I never thought of myself as a very technologically advanced person, but this is very easy to do, and hopefully as I get along a little bit, I'll make it a little cooler, a little easier to follow. Maybe get like a real podcast going one day, but for now this is good enough. It's getting my point across, and it's basically I'm getting these topics through my everyday experience, whether it's going out to games, watching kids that I train, or training with kids down at the cage, through conversation and topic with players, parents, coaches. Some things will just click in my head, and I'll say, oh geez, I should really address that or talk about that, or I have a lot to say about that, So, that's another reason. It's just because it's easy to do, and it's I highly advise it. I think it's a great tool, right? I mean, there's this app that I use, and you hit record and you start talking, and whether you want to keep notes in your personal life or express some opinions or do what I'm doing and putting yourself out there and like throwing it out on the internet for people, I think it's a really great tool. Now, for me, again, addressing another reason I do this is because, for me, information and knowledge is everything, and for specifically speaking of baseball players, how they acquire that information and knowledge, and I was a player through many different times in my career. I was desperate for information or trains of thought, physically, mentally, something that would help me, a different someone to shed some light on something that maybe I was going through, and needed help with, and just to hear different people's perspectives or opinions or philosophies again. And that's kind of what I'm sharing, because surely there's going to be people out there that this will help, and then maybe some people won't bother, whatever. But it's also therapeutic to me as well, and it's something that I enjoy doing, and that it kind of goes back to why I do it. And I'm also at a point in my career with what I'm doing in the baseball world that I feel like I'm very well trained now. Just going back from learning from my playing days to starting teaching, and then really the last 7 years, immersing myself into this, where you're giving lessons, you're out on the field, you're guest speaking at practices, observing games, talking to players and coaches all the time, providing feedback, being a resource in the community for all these different concerns. I feel like I've had enough, experience now. I used to, I'd look at my lessons when I give a lesson that I'm getting on stage. I'm refining my message with each lesson I give. I'm honing in on it. Even though every lesson's different, every individual is different, I teach to the individual. These common themes keep creeping into each message, and I really play off that, and I refine that, and then I have the tendency to tailor make that message for each individual, and I think that's important. So I've gotten to this point where I feel like I can talk a lot. Sometimes I talk too much, and I've tried to keep these short and sweet, and the message to the point. But, it's pretty cool just to be able to pick up the phone and start talking into it and hitting on some key points. And I feel like I guess I'm good enough now to do that. I think in the past, maybe I wasn't as confident, in my abilities and my philosophies on the game to just, put a microphone in front of your face and start talking. But I certainly feel that now. And then, another thing is just it's I just think it's a tool. For me personally, in the last year or so especially, I've really gotten into these podcasts myself, and a lot of them have nothing to do with baseball. They're not even in the baseball world. But these certain individuals that I follow on social media, and then some of these people have podcasts, and I just plug in. That's what I do. I plug in. I go to the gym, get on the treadmill, put on some headphones, or go take a hike and put on some headphones, or just Bluetooth it in my car when I'm driving, and I'm plugging into some people that are very influential and have some good perspectives. And I think that's the way of the world right now for people that want to put themselves out there and acquire a lot of information that probably is going to help. And if not, sift through it. And the stuff that you don't want to apply to your daily life, then don't. But what I'm doing here with the baseball, I think there's a lot of good stuff that players on all levels can acquire, what I call learn and apply. I think that's a very important two-step process to learn and apply. So that's pretty much why I do it. To come out in the open about my personal intentions and where I'm at, and the strong beliefs I have in player development and training and teaching and having students learn, and being receptive to their thoughts as well, and working the individuality of the presence of each player into the lesson plan and how they execute on the field. And also, like I talked about in my last episode, being coachable and balancing the individuality and ability to be coached, and just a lot of things. a lot of things. So it's a combination of a lot of things why I do this. But I enjoy it. I appreciate questions and comments and the text messages and some stuff I've received on this, and I continue to seek stuff to talk about, and I'll continue to put it out there. And appreciate you listening, and I think there's a lot more good stuff coming. I feel really good about this. It's something I enjoy doing too. I guess that'd be the final reason I do this. I like to do it, and I'll get better at it too, I'm sure, because it's a pretty new experience for me talking to a phone on a topic. Usually I'm talking to small groups or teams or individual players and their parents or whatever. This is a little different, but I like it. So again, thank you for listening, and feel free to reach out to me anytime. And that's about it. That's all I got. Thanks.